Have you ever wondered how the Israel-Palestine conflict, one of the most enduring geopolitical issues of our time, began? It was a culmination of events rooted in the late 19th and early 20th century, when nationalism was sweeping across Europe and the Middle East. Zionism, a form of Jewish nationalism, was born out of the desire for a homeland in the face of growing anti-Semitism in Europe. This vision was propelled by the Balfour Declaration of 1917, a British promise to establish a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Meanwhile, Arab nationalism was also on the rise, with Palestinians looking to establish their own independent state. This created a complex and volatile mix of aspirations and promises, further complicated when the British Mandate of Palestine took control of the region after World War I. The British, trying to balance conflicting promises made to both Jewish and Arab populations, ended up sowing seeds of discord. The interwar period saw a significant increase in Jewish immigration to Palestine, fueled by the horrors of the Holocaust. This influx intensified the already strained relations between the Jewish immigrants and the indigenous Palestinian population. By the end of World War II, the stage was set for a major conflict in the region. In 1948, the United Nations proposed a partition plan that would divide Palestine into two states, one Arab and one Jewish. This seismic decision, known as the 1947 UN Partition Plan, was not so much a solution as it was a fuse, igniting a conflict that still rages to this day. The establishment of Israel on May 14, 1948 was seen as a triumph for some, a sanctuary for Jewish people in the aftermath of the Holocaust. Yet for others it was a catastrophe, or as it's known in Arabic, the Nakba. The Nakba is a period of profound sorrow and displacement for Palestinians. As Israel declared its independence, neighboring Arab states launched an attack. This resulted in a war that not only shaped the borders of the newly born Israel, but also left an indelible mark on the region. In the chaos of war, around 700,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes. Many were driven out by Israeli forces, while others fled fearing the worst. The villages they left behind were either demolished or repopulated by Jewish immigrants. The displaced Palestinians found themselves living as refugees in neighboring countries, in the West Bank or in the Gaza Strip. This mass displacement, the Nakba, is more than a historical event. It's a wound that still festers. It marked the beginning of a protracted conflict, a cycle of displacement and violence that continues to this day. The memory of the Nakba is a poignant reminder of the homes lost, the lives uprooted, and the dreams shattered. The 1948 war and the Nakba marked the beginning of a protracted conflict and a profound tragedy for the Palestinian people. The conflict did not end in 1948. It has continued to this day, marked by wars, intifadas, peace processes, and ongoing occupation. In the years that followed, the region saw significant events, such as the Six-Day War in 1967, where Israel expanded its territory, cementing its control over the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The Oslo Accords in the 1990s, meant to be a beacon of hope, a pathway to peace, fell short of its promise. The process was marred by mutual distrust, violations, and a failure to address core issues such as settlements and the status of Jerusalem. Fast forward to today, and the situation remains fraught. Recent escalations have seen thousands of lives lost, and the world watches with bated breath as the cycle of violence continues. Israeli settlements expand, further encroaching on Palestinian lands, leading to displacement and escalating tensions. The occupation persists, as does the struggle for self-determination. The rights of Palestinians are continually violated, with limited access to essential resources and significant barriers to freedom of movement. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex issue with deep historical roots and profound human consequences. In this brief overview, we have traced the origins of the Israel-Palestine conflict from the late 19th century to the present day. We delved into the birth of Israel and the Nakba, unveiling a narrative of forced displacement and struggle for homeland. Our journey took us through major events since 1948, shedding light on the relentless waves of violence, the ceaseless international protests, and the stark humanitarian crises. The role of global powers, such as the United States, was also highlighted, revealing how the threads of this conflict are woven into a much larger geopolitical tapestry. We confronted the harsh reality of the situation in Gaza, where hospitals are damaged, resources are cut off, and civilians bear the brunt of the conflict. Legal frameworks defining genocide were discussed, emphasizing the gravity of the allegations against Israeli leadership and their allies. In sum, the Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex and deeply rooted issue with historical, political, and human dimensions. Understanding the history of this conflict is the first step towards seeking a just and lasting resolution. The journey towards peace and justice is long, but it is a path that we must continue to tread.